Hi, my name is Joseph, and today we're going to be talking about social media, what it is, and how you can use it for your business. So to get started, what is social media? Now, a lot of people think that social media is about a technology, and that scares them, but that really isn't entirely accurate. More than anything, social media is about people and relationships. It's about having conversations. Sites like Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube are merely the medium for those conversations, just like you would use a phone to talk to a faraway friend. The internet is changing everything. There's been a real paradigm shift. In the past, advertising was one way. Marketers used television and radio. They took out ads in newspapers and advertised in the yellow pages. They put their message out there, and they hoped that consumers would act upon it. But there was no feedback loop. There was no room for conversation. And unfortunately for advertisers, people are busier than ever today, and they don't have time for all of the advertising, so they're just filtering it out. They're using services like TiVo to watch shows after the fact and just skip over the commercials. They're using RSS readers to aggregate content from different news sources instead of buying the local paper. And more than ever, they're turning to search engines like Google, Yahoo, and Bing to find local businesses online. Just to illustrate how quickly things are changing, in the 4 years between 2005 and 2009, advertising revenue from newspapers declined by over 44%, according to the Newspaper Association of America. In just 4 years, they lost almost half their revenue from advertising. That's huge. So what does this mean for businesses? It means that companies that rely exclusively on these traditional means of advertising, while they still have merit, are losing their audiences. And that's why it's so important to engage in social media and use it to communicate with your customers. And one of the great things about this is you're going to get so much feedback that you can use to improve your products and services. More than anything, it's about listening. It's about seeing what consumers want and seeing how you can make things better for them. Now, as I mentioned before, people are very busy, and there's so much information out there. So social media is helping people to filter through all of that content and find what it is that they're really looking for, the answers to their problems. And the way that they're doing this is they're relying on content that's created by other consumers. When you go to Amazon, you look at a product, there are product reviews. Sure, the manufacturer is probably going to say that their product is great, but the reviews are probably going to give you a more realistic picture of what to actually expect. They may tell you that the product holds up well, or they may tell you that it breaks after 3 months. You have to just kind of read through those and see. But that's social media. Social media is about word of mouth. And now you can share your experiences with your friends and with strangers alike, so that you can all benefit from each other's collective experiences and knowledge. Now, one objection I hear a lot to why businesses don't want to engage in social media is that they think it's just for teenagers or for college students, that it's some type of fad. And that's really not the case. Like I said before, social media is more about communication than anything else. People are always going to communicate, whether they're using a phone to do it, whether they're using their computer to do it, or they're using some technology that hasn't even been created yet. Now, the interesting thing with social media is its usage is growing across all age groups as more and more people are using the internet to communicate. Interestingly enough, the fastest growing demographic on Facebook are women over the age of 55, if you can believe that. Another objection I hear a lot is, well, if we use social media, then anyone can say anything they want about our brand. And that's very true, but they can say anything they want about your brand whether or not you choose to join the conversation. It doesn't matter if you're on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. People can still talk about you in those places. And if you're not listening for them and you're not responding to them, terrible things can happen. Those reviews can become viral and attract other people with similar grievances. Before you know it, they spread, and it can have a very strong negative impact on your brand. Let's take a look at what happened back in 2005 with Jeff Jarvis and Dell. Jeff purchased a laptop from Dell, and he was having all kinds of issues with it, so he kept sending it back, and it would come back to him, and he kept having issues, and he wasn't able to get them resolved. And he was so frustrated, he decided to write a blog post entitled Dell Sucks. And apparently a lot of other people had similar grievances, so they commented on it, with their own experiences. They linked to it, they shared it on social media sites, and before you know it, it rose up in the search engines, so it was right there on the first page when you did a search for Dell, right there with Dell.com. And this really hurt sales of Dell products. Dell had to completely reevaluate their support model, and they had to put in place procedures for listening to customers online. And today they're a much more successful company because of it. So when you get negative feedback, what should you do with it? The most important thing that you want to do is you want to respond promptly to it. This shows customers that you're listening and that you care. The one thing you never want to do is delete negative feedback. Because 1, people will notice that you deleted it. 2, the person who wrote it, they have a problem that they're trying to get solved. They're coming to you with their problem, and you're basically slamming the door in their face and saying, oh, but we don't really care about your problem. And now they're more frustrated than ever. So likely what they're going to do is they're going to go someplace else to another site where you can't delete their feedback, and they're going to post another comment, and it might be even more negative than the first comment, and now you have no control over it. You can't delete it. So the best thing that you can do is respond promptly to it, because then when people look at it, they're going to see the negative comment, and then right below it they're going to see, Joe, we're really sorry you had a negative experience. We'd like to talk to you and see what we can do to make it right. And that speaks volumes about the company. It's going to show 1, that you didn't delete the comment when you easily could have, and 2, that you're listening to your customers and that you care about your customers. But bottom line, you shouldn't be afraid of your customers. They're the people that make you successful. Beyond just responding to negative feedback, you want to encourage positive conversation about your brand. And one of the best ways to do that is by having great content. And when I say great content, I don't mean talking about yourself, your products, your services, how long you've been in business. No one really cares. People care about their problems and they're looking for solutions. So if you can provide resources that help them to find the answers they're looking for, then they're going to be more inclined to interact with your content and share it. Now, one of the best ways to put out content is with a blog. And the reason for this is because every article you post is another page filled with keywords that the search engines can index and which visitors can share. One of the biggest factors search engines look at when determining how a page ranks is how many people link to it. So the more people that link to and share your content, and the more content you have to interact with and share, the better your site will rank. So what would be a good example of this? Let's pretend you're in the flooring industry, and you install hardwood floors. You could talk about how to install hardwood floors, or answer many of the questions that people might have when they're considering putting them down, such as how to choose the appropriate underlaying, or the difference between interlocking and glue-down floors. Now, you're probably wondering, why would I want to give all of this information away? Isn't that what they're hiring me to do, to put down their floor? Well, yes, but by doing this, you're accomplishing several things. First and foremost, you're establishing yourself as an authority. So when they have a question, you'll probably be one of the first people they'll come to with it. And even if your viewers never use your services, they may tell their friends. Or even if they're out of area, they can still help you indirectly by sharing your content. So let's say they comment on your content, or they share it on Facebook or Twitter, or they link to it on their site. Well, now they're helping you to rank better in the search engines, so you may come up higher in the local search results when people are looking for local wood flooring companies. And once you have great content, you want to make it easy for your visitors to share it. And you can do this by adding social sharing buttons. Your visitors can then click on them and easily post your content to different social media sites. We also encourage you to share your articles on your social media profiles so that your followers can easily find them. And you also want to provide a way on your site for guests to subscribe to your blog. Now, we realize that making content is time-consuming, so you can also encourage others to do it for you. One idea that works very well is having a video contest. Visitors can submit homemade commercials and other visitors can vote on which one they like best. Not only do you get content, but it makes the visitors feel more connected with your brand. Even better, those customers will likely share their commercial with their friends, encouraging them to vote on it. It's a great way to get exposure. And if the commercial is really funny, there's a chance it may even go viral. And beyond encouraging others to create content, you can also share third-party content you think your viewers will find interesting. It's always a good idea to follow other blogs in your industry. This will help you stay on top of the latest trends, and it will also give you a steady stream of content to share. Now, when sharing content that's not your own, you always want to make sure that you link to the original source. Never repost content on your site and try to claim it as your own. Third-party content is very well suited for sharing on social media sites. Now, I encourage you to check out our blogging tutorial for some more content ideas, but for now, let's move on. Aside from having great content, you also want to actively engage with consumers on social media sites and encourage them to share their feedback with you. You can create polls, ask questions, share content. When sharing content, always include a call to action that encourages them to do something. Should they read your article, comment with their thoughts, or answer your poll? A simple call to action can have a profound effect on interaction. So that's a real quick overview of social media. This is just a very basic introduction. We do encourage you to check out our other videos where we'll cover these concepts in greater detail. But thank you for watching. Please be sure to share Nautic University with your colleagues and friends. And if you have any questions about this introduction, please leave a comment below and we'll respond shortly. Thank you.